Hey guys, so what I thought would be fun today is just placing some profitable bets while also, if it gets slow, I think there's only 2 NBA games today. We'll go over maybe some of the promos and stuff like that because a lot of sports books are posting promos already for the upcoming week. So we can already see there's an ARB in Corey Joseph over 8.5, under 8.5 points. So if I want to lock in a risk-free profit and go ahead and do that in the Warriors-Pistons game, again, you got to be quick. You can see I already have a lot of bets placed on this game, but you really do have to be quick. So who are we looking for? Corey Joseph. It looks like it may have already moved. Nope, it didn't. Well, did it? That is 3-pointer. So it looks like it already moved. So we've said this before, and in all the other live streams, if you haven't seen them, I'd recommend watching. Is you definitely have to be quick to get in on some of the best opportunities. Usually when I'm on these streams, I hit like 60, 70% as I'm talking away. So hopefully we'll do that today. We can make some risk-free profits. We did that yesterday. We had, an ARB on the Westbrook assists market. So we made a risk-free, few dollars, and we've done that a few times, $6 on Embiid. It's really just a speed game. And again, the users who get the most value out of OddsJam will be the users who check OddsJam the most. These opportunities are always changing. So even on a slower day, you can see, Twin Spires just moved on this under 8.5 player points for Corey Joseph, but now you could ARB it with Bovada. So let me just turn off my phone so no one freaking bothers me. But let's go through. We can hit some positive EV bets. We can discuss why we like them, and we can also go through some of the promos. So I guess I'll start off with promos. So if we go over to promos, you can see DraftKings has an NFL divisional round same game parlay bet and get. Seems like a lot of freaking work. Opt in and you place $10 in cumulative NFL same game parlay bets each day to receive a $150 free bet. So today, if I place $10 in, or I guess this starts on January, I don't know. It's a little bit confusing, but it's probably profitable. So maybe once I get a better sense of the terms, I'll bet this. Place $10 in cumulative same game parlays. You get a $5 free bet. So I don't know why it says you have to do it each day. That's each day to receive a $150 free bet. I get it. So if you place $250 in same game parlays on both January 22nd and January 23rd, you'll get a $150 free bet. So you have to bet, $500 total. You're getting an $150 free bet. I mean, you're getting 30% of your money back in a free bet, but these same game parlays, oftentimes they have really high juice. The sports books like to juice them. So maybe it's a little good. Maybe it's not good. Probably depends on the actual bets you're selecting. So I'm just going to, whatever. I'm just going to skip over this. I'm not particularly enthralled by it because FanDuel has a couple really good ones. So again, like FanDuel's in a bunch of states. It's now in New York, soon coming to Oregon, I believe, as well as Ohio. So really exciting stuff. And they added 3 new promos. They're all really good. So the first one you can see right here is you place a 3+ leg same game parlay on any NFL playoff game taking place, whatever. And if you lose, you get your money back. So just go into this promo. You want to make sure you hit the opt-in button if you haven't already opted in. And you place a 3-leg same-game parlay with plus 400 odds or higher. And if your bet loses, you get your money back, right? So it's literally a free $10 lottery ticket. It is impossible to lose money with this promotion, right? So what we can do is, you can see I already bet it. So if we go to Cam, bet it somewhere. I have a lot of bets from the OddsJam plus EV page from earlier today, stuff like that. But here's what I went with: the same game parlay, Rams, Cam Akers first touchdown, and under 9.5 total points. So you want the odds on the same game parlay. It has to be at least plus 400 to be eligible. You also need at least 3 legs, but you want the odds on this to be as high as possible to maximize value, right? FanDuel's giving you your money back if you lose. So you want to place this on a bet with long odds. It's a free lottery ticket. So here's what I ended up going with. Feel free to tail it if you want. It seemed like a pretty good opportunity. So this is what I ended up going with. So that's pretty cool. And then, so it's really profitable, right? You literally can't lose money. This is a free, regardless of your bankroll as a sports bettor, $10, you can put it towards anything. You'll have a fun bet. If you lose, you get your money back, right? Like, pick whatever you think is good with 3+ legs above plus 400 odds, and you're good to go. Any game you want to bet on, you literally can't lose money. These other 2 promos, I have a full YouTube video about them, so feel free to go back and find that YouTube video and watch it, are college basketball parlay insurance and NHL parlay insurance. So again, you just want to click into the terms. You can see if you place a 4-leg, parlay on any NHL games, whatever, you can do this once per day. It says max refund $25 per day. So you place a 4-leg same game parlay with odds above plus 400. So not same game parlay. You place a 4-leg parlay with odds above plus 400. If exactly 1 leg loses, you get your money back, right? So usually when you place a parlay, if any leg loses, you lose your money. But what's really cool about FanDuel, and there's a link to sign up for FanDuel in the description if you want to check it out, is, if we just lose one of these legs, we get our money back. It's insane, right? And it's very profitable. We've run through the math. This is a positive EV promotion. So similar to the bets on the OddsJam positive EV page, this promo is mathematically profitable. So what we ended up going with for college basketball today, you can do this once per day. You can lose money, right? If you lose 2 legs, you lose your money. But if exactly 1 leg loses, we get our money back from FanDuel. You get a refund, right? So what I ended up going with is Kent State, Iona, Syracuse, and Fresno State. You want the odds on every leg mathematically, as we discussed in the full-length YouTube video, to be as close to minus 200 as possible, right? It's optimal, mathematically optimal, to have each leg as close to minus 200 as possible. So if we go in here, you can see, the reason I said minus 200 and not minus 300 is, because every leg in your parlay must be minus 200 or greater to qualify. So you can't parlay a bunch of things together that are minus 900. Then they have the same thing for NHL. So here's what I went with: Flames plus 1.5, Kings plus 1.5, Canadians plus 2.5, under 6.5. And then the rest of these bets are just straight up ARBs or bets from the OddsJam plus EV page. So even though it was a slow day, relatively, with only two NBA games and not a ton of NFL, tons of opportunities today if you were just looking around. Seems a little slow right now, but you can see, there is some value on this Bills line. There's some value in some player props right now. So that's cool. So those are the 3 promos I bet there. And then we can check out Caesars as well. Caesars I haven't checked. So if I just look up Tuesday, we can see what they have. And they have this promo, right? So bet $75 on the Blue Devils versus Florida State game. And if you win, you get a $3 towards a free bet for every 3-pointer your team makes. So what you can do is you can look up, which team scores more 3-pointers. I assume it's Duke. It would probably make sense to bet on the Duke point spread, right? You want to bet on the team that is more likely to have more threes. And this is definitely a great promo. I haven't run through the math of it, but in all our full-length YouTube videos, we've done a ton of other ones. So Caesars is another great sports book to have, right? The crazy thing about the United States is just the quantity of these sports books, right? There are so many sports books, and all of these sports books have different odds, which is what makes it very exciting as a sports bettor, right? If I just like go to UFC, this random fight, I actually think I have some money on it from the OddsJam positive EV page. So I think I already have some money on the over 3.5 rounds, I believe. But you can see right here, like, this Brandon Moreno guy, he's minus 188 on FanDuel, but you can get minus 167 on Sugar House, right? Sugar House is in New Jersey and Connecticut. So why would you only have a FanDuel account if you're in Connecticut? It's also in New Jersey. Why would you only have a FanDuel account if you're in New Jersey when you can get minus 167? No sports bettor wins every time. Whether you're profitable or not profitable really comes in whether you are getting good prices, whether you're getting good odds, right? If you go 50 and 50 as a sports bettor, 50 wins, 50 losses, and you're placing your bets at minus 110, you lost money. If you placed your bets at plus 110, you made money. So even though this difference in odds seems kind of small, like, oh, whatever, like on FanDuel, I only have to bet 188 to win 100 versus 167 to bet 100, whatever. Like, it doesn't matter if you're only betting, $2 a week, but if you're actually trying to bet on sports and make money and you're placing, some serious cash on some games, then you need to be line shopping. It's really what makes or breaks. Comparing odds between bookmakers is called line shopping. And that's what you really need to do as a sports bettor to become profitable long-term, right? As well as looking at all these cool promos. So the one on DraftKings seems meh, not particularly great. This on FanDuel is very good. You should do it every single day. You can do it every single day. And then this is just a free $10 lottery ticket. And then this one on Caesar seems good as well. So get more sports books, right? The crazy thing about the US is because all these sports books are competing for you, or in Canada, right? They're all competing for you, is they all offer you sign-up bonuses as well, right? Like Caesar's is this is for Arizona because I'm currently in Arizona, but in New York, they're giving you a $3,000 deposit bonus. That's insane, right? You deposit $3,000, they give you $3,000, and they give you $300 the second you register. So $3,300 in New York because, there are a lot of books in New York already. There's not FanDuel, MGM, Caesars, BetMGM just launched, and Bet Rivers launched. So there's already 5 books in New York, and Caesars is competing to get you, right? They want you betting on their platform because they want to grow. So definitely take advantage of that. We have links to all of the sportsbook sign-up bonuses in the description with all of the states available. And it seems too good to be true. It does, but go back, watch my YouTube videos on sign-up bonuses. We have some, about the entire US and the amount of sign-up bonuses. It's not too good to be true, right? These sportsbooks, they're highly, highly regulated. It's not like Caesars, this is some BS marketing when they say if you're in Arizona, you get your first wager matched up to $1,000 win or lose, right? It's not BS marketing. If your first bet, once you bet your first $1,000, Caesars gives you $1,000 in the form of a free bet. It's literally just insanely profitable. You could hedge on another sports book if you wanted to by going to the low holds page, right? So let's say I had to, I go into Caesars and I'm like, oh, dang, I want that $1,001. What you can do is you can go to the low holds page and you can look for an opportunity with Caesars, right? So we can see right here, right? Caps minus 2.5. You could put your $1,000 on that and you could hedge on Fox Bet with Jets plus 2.5 minus 400. You'd only lose 1% of your money. So on a $1,000 bet, you would lose about, $10 just because of the spread or the hold of these two books, but they give you an $1,000 free bet. So you lose $10 on your first bet, but it's risk-free, right? You're hedged. Regardless of what happens in this caps game, you're just losing $10, right? So you can email us with questions about that, contact@oddsham.com, but you lose $10 just to the spread between these bookmakers, then you get an $1,000 free bet. So anyways, let's look for some bets. I can stop blabbing, but so this looks pretty incredible. Heck yeah. So Maple Leafs -2 plus 270. Like if we just click in This is an arb to Pinnacle, the sharpest sports book in the world. So we know that it's a mathematically profitable bet. We'll go through the math here in a sec, but we might as well place it. So you can customize kind of all your settings. If you want to see player props, if you don't, I bet on player props sometimes I don't. It's all about customizing your settings so you see more or less bets, or you're placing the bets that you've been most successful with, right? So we can go here. This looks like a pretty incredible bet. Maple Leafs -2. So I'll go here and we'll talk about the math, but you can see this bet is profitable by 13.4%. So we can go over here to hockey, and then we can go to, we have the mathematical edge over the bookmaker. So I'll go to view all events, and then I can type in Maple Leafs, or I can just, scroll. And I'll go here, and then I'll go to alternate lines. So again, knowing how to move quickly really is beneficial because great bets don't last forever. And guaranteed, this line is not going to be up in an hour, right? Because Caesars posted a line that's too good to be true. So we just hit that for $250. Maple Leafs -2 plus 270. It has 13.4% edge. So we have Maple Leafs -2 plus 270 odds. So we're betting $250. We have 13.4% edge. This is an incredible bet. It just popped up. I would not have gotten it if I wasn't on OddsJam. My bet is profitable by $33.50. Absolutely insane. People, wonder why you can make money sports betting. It's because when you find good opportunities, the edge, right? We just made $33.50 in expectancy in a bet. So why did we bet this? Let's get back to the basics, and let's just go to the arbitrage page. There's an arb, right? We know that. There is an arb between Caesars and Pinnacle, right? Pinnacle is, look it up, they accept arbitrage bettors. They allow large bet sizes. They are referred to as the sharpest sports book out there, right? And we know that there's an arb. So whenever there's an arb, that means you can place a bet on both sides and earn a risk-free profit, right? So granted, this isn't a massive opportunity. It's only 0.91%. Taking an alcoholic drink. It's only 0.91%, but that's not the point. The point is we know one of these two bets has to be good, right? There's no such thing as free money in sports betting when there's no good bet, right? When you're placing an arb bet, equal and opposite outcomes, you're betting on two sports books and you're earning a risk-free profit, one of those bets has to be mathematically profitable, right? What you're doing as a sharp sports bettor is you are inferring which bet is mathematically profitable. So at the core, whenever you have an arb between Caesars and Pinnacle, right, you know that Pinnacle is the sharpest bookmaker in the world. So you place the bet on Caesars because you know that that's the mathematically profitable bet, or you assume it's the mathematically profitable bet. Pinnacle allows arbitrage betting. They don't limit players, right? They're a very, very efficient betting market, which is why, they allow a ton of sharp action to bet into them. A lot of these US sports books, as you'll see as we kind of play some bets, they'll limit you if you're making too much money because they just they haven't been around as long. It's not their business to be very sharp bookmakers in the same way Pinnacle is, right? Pinnacle made its name by charging low juice and being a very efficient betting market and allowing sharps to bet on them and, people who want to bet a lot of money to bet on them. So we have an arb right here. So what we can do, is essentially take Pinnacle's market plus 214 minus 258, and we can put that into a zero vig calculator, right? The way any sportsbook makes money is they don't charge you a fee. They don't charge you $5 for placing a bet, is they charge you through the vig, right? They don't offer you what they think is a good price, right? Pinnacle lets you bet on the Maple Leafs -2 plus 214, and they don't charge anything, right? These sportsbooks give you money to sign up, and then they allow you to bet on them. So Pinnacle doesn't think this plus 214 is good. They also don't think the minus 258 is good. That's just their market. They believe both of these lines are bad, and that's the price they're giving you so they can make money, right? Their business is giving a bunch of prices out that they believe are bad. Sports bettors bet on them. and they make their money, right? And if too many people are betting on Maple Leafs -2, they'll take this down from plus 214 to, plus 200 or plus 190. And then if people continue to bet it down, they'll take it down to plus 175 and they'll keep moving it lower, right? Everything is determined by supply and demand. Whereas if everyone comes in and they start hammering this Rangers +2 -258, then they'll move this up and they'll move this down to like -300, right? That's how these sportsbooks work. They just like balance the wagers on both sides and, essentially try to make that spread. So what we do with the zero vig odds calculator, which you should be spending a lot of time on OddsJam, is you put in a market and then you remove the juice to say, okay, well, if the sportsbook didn't want to make money, if they didn't want to charge the vig, what price would they be giving me? And it's plus 226.29. right? Plus 226.29. So now it gets a little confusing to maybe new sports bettors, but every odd has an associated win probability, right? So for example, if we're placing bets at plus 100 odds, we need to win 50% of the time to break even. So you can see that. So what I can do is actually take this 30.65, just so I remember, this is my win rate according to Pinnacle, the sharpest sportsbook in the world. So if I'm betting something at plus 100, I need to win 50% of the time to break even. So if I go to an odds converter calculator, what you can do is just put in the odds you're getting, right? Odds are the most important thing in sports betting. Everything is about the price you're getting. It's kind of like someone being like, do you want to buy this car? And they're not telling you the price on the car. It's like, do I want to bet on this team? Well, what odds, right? There should be a price that you're willing to bet on every team. So plus 100 American odds is a 50% win rate, right? So plus 100 odds is a 50% win rate. What does that mean? Is if you're placing bets at plus 100, you need to win half of your bets to break even, right? Whenever you win a bet, you're earning $100. Let's say if your unit size is 100, whenever you're losing a bet, you're losing $100, right? So you need to win 50% of the time to break even as a sports bettor, right? So if we won 10 times, we lost 10 times, we wouldn't have profit, right? We would just be a scratch. Whereas if I'm winning greater than 50% of the time betting on plus 100 odds, I'm going to be a profitable sports bettor, right? A mathematically profitable sports bettor because I'm winning more than the fair win rate. So what we know is we're placing a bet at plus 270 odds, right? So we'll go back here and we'll put in plus 270. So we're placing a bet at plus 270, which implies a win rate of 27.03%. So we have 27.03. This is the fair win rate for plus 270. So this is, the break-even win rate for plus 270, we can call it. So if I place, 10,000 bets at plus 270 odds, I need to win 27.03% of them to break even. If I'm winning more than 27.03% of them, I'm making money. And if I, don't win, if I win less than 27% of the time, say 20% of the time, then I'm losing money, right? So every odd has an associated win rate. Now, what we know is according to the zero vig odds calculator, I believe the market was like let's see if it moved. It looks like Caesars already took it down a bit. But so again, you have to be quick, but hopefully you bet it, is our win rate was 30.65%. According to the market on Pinnacle, the sharpest sportsbook in the world, we believe we're winning this bet 30.65% of the time, right? Which is above the win rate, which means that our bet has a mathematical profit margin. So we can go through the math of this actually. So we placed $250 on a team at plus 270 odds. So our bet was at, plus 270. So 250 was our stake. And then our profit, if we win, we're betting $250 at plus 270 odds, is 250 times 2.7. So if our bet wins, we earn $675 in profit. If our bet loses, we lose $250. So, and we believe, according to the according to the sharpest sportsbook out there, they're telling us that once you remove the juice from their market, they're telling you should be winning this bet 30.65% of the time. So this is our win rate, right? So then you can back out your EV as a sports bettor. 30.65% of the time we're winning our bet, and we're winning $675 in profit. The rest of the time we're losing our bet. So 1 minus 30.65%, which means we are losing, 1 minus, so roughly 70% of the time we're losing $250, which is our stake. And that gives us our EV, right? So this is the profit margin on our bet. Our bet is profitable by $34, right? And then you can back out your edge. So your edge is just your profit margin, right? So this is our expected profit on the bet, and our profit margin is what you saw on the OddsJam positive EV page, which was, you can see Caesar's already lowered it. You got to be quick, right? That was an incredible line. And this 13.4 was showing you the edge. So an absolutely incredible bet we just got down on. This bet also looks pretty good, right? So like, that's kind of how you think about it. The math behind sports betting. So we can hit some player prop bets. We can also see if there's any other promos. I hate when these books log me out. And again, these betting opportunities change throughout the day. On, days where there's a lot more NBA games, there will obviously be more bets. Like, our product is based in live data. It's not based in any, BS fairy dust stuff. It's not picks. It's not finger to the sky. It's not, oh, well, Patrick Mahomes, I heard he had a cough. Like, it's no BS. It's just data. So if we go here, we can see on the ARB page again, we have a Chiefs Bills bet. So this bet has lower EV, but it's the same concept. You have an ARB between the sharpest sportsbook in the world and TwinSpires. So we know one of these bets has to be good. So I want to place my bet on TwinSpires. So what I can do is, let me just log back into TwinSpires quickly, and we can, try to bet this. And 1 second, hopefully this works. And we can place this bet, and hopefully no one's beating me to it. So again, like, a lot of people don't have TwinSpires Sportsbook, so we have a link below to sign up. I think it's in like Pennsylvania, Indiana, New Jersey. That really is the craziest thing about being a sports bettor in the US, right? Is all these states have different sports books, which is very unique. Like, it's very strange to me. You go to Connecticut and you have like 2 options or 3 options, and then you go to frickin' New Jersey. You just drive a bit to New Jersey and there's like 1,000 sports books. Not actually, but I mean, I think there's something like 25 in New Jersey. It makes sports betting really interesting because each state has different regulations, and therefore different books go into them and stuff like that. And it also means, like, Colorado has some smaller books that you probably never heard of, like Bet Wildwood, that are just in that state, because Colorado, I assume, probably has the most friendly gambling laws. So we can go here and we can place this Chiefs Bills bet. We have an ARB between TwinSpires and the sharpest sportsbook in the world, Pinnacle. So if we wanted to, if we were able to, we could place a bet on both sportsbooks and earn a risk-free profit. I'm not, it's not allowed in the US, this, Pinnacle. So you use it as a source of information, right? They have under 57.5 all the way down at minus 160, and we have minus 130, and we're picking up minus 139. So that clearly seems like a pretty good betting opportunity. So we can go here, and then we can go to that's also a really high total. And you can see I already have a bet, but I'll bet a little more for the sake of the video. So I'll put another $250 on it. And this bet has a lower, right? It has a lower EV or whatever you want to call it. But, still your goal as a sports bettor is to have, maybe like 20, 30 mathematically profitable bets placed per day. Some bets will win, some bets will lose, but you have the mathematical edge as a sports bettor, so you will win in the long run. Of course, you'll still have some down days, stuff like that, but I can place this bet, add it to my bet tracker, which is cool. And what's really cool about the bet tracker, again, if you haven't already set up your alerts, the bet tracker is free. So just create an account. All you have to do is like put in your state. You can exit out of the payment page, but the bet tracker is really cool because there is a CLV notifications tab. So what that does is we can go here is if the line moves against you. So we just bet on the Maple Leafs -2, right? if that bet moves against us, then like, let's say, you know, whatever, the Maple Leafs goalie is not going to be eligible to play, then we will get an email alert from OddsJam. It's all free. You'll get an email alert from OddsJam that's like, hey, the line moved against you. And sometimes you're able to cash out, right? So like a lot of these sports books, so let me log back into FanDuel very briefly, but a lot of these sports books allow you to cash out. Let me log back in, and then I'll go here, and I can share my screen on this slower day. But if I go to, you know, my bets or whatever, like you can see, you know, this is a terrible cash out, but I placed this bet again for that promo we discussed earlier. It's really profitable, this promo. I think I calculated it as like 14%, 15%, something like that. You know, but if I wanted to, they're saying, you know, we'll give you 16.35 if you don't want your bet on anymore. Of course, that's terrible. I wagered $25 and they're only going to give me $16 back. So I'd lose $9. And I want to leave it open for the promo, but like you can see, some of these sports books allow you to cash out. Like on OddsJam, on the positive EV page, I got an incredible line on Cyril Gahn in his fight against, you know, I hope I pronounce this right, Nagano. And they're letting me cash out for 266.80. So sometimes when you get really good line, they'll let you cash out for a positive cash out, as it's called, right? You know, FanDuel saying your bet is freaking good because you're sharp, will give you $21 to take it off. And, you know, I'm not going to do that. But anyways, the bet tracker, again, it's free. You know, green means you're beating the closing line. And you can use it with any sports books you use, right? Green equals beating the closing line if you hover over it. So what's cool is like there was an example in the Chiefs-Packers game during the NFL season. I think Rodgers got COVID. The game was initially like -110 money line on both teams. Probably a couple of months ago, maybe 3 months ago. I'm not positive. Both teams were -110. Rodgers gets COVID, so he's not playing. And the Chiefs, you know, go from -110 to like -500. So some people who were using the OddsJam bet tracker, right, you got an email alert that's like, hey, you bet on this team -110 on the Packers, and now, you know, they're like +400, right? So your bet sucks now. Even if it was a great bet at the time you placed the bet, you know, it now sucks. So some people were able to cash out for full value. Again, you have to be quick, but like sometimes it can happen. Now, another question, you know, we continuously get over email about OddsJam from OddsJam users is like, should you place bets far in the future? And I think the answer is yes. I mean, of course, you know, this Cyril Gahn guy could miss weight or whatever, and the line could move vastly against him. But thanks to OddsJam, I got him plus money, which was an incredible line. Granted, I placed this bet December 27th. So I placed this bet a month in advance of the fight, but I saw the bet on OddsJam and was like, damn, I can't pass that bet up. And, you know, it's fun to have mathematically profitable bets placed on sports. So I'm also excited to watch this fight because at this point I have like freaking unlimited amounts of money bet on it. But like, you know, the line obviously moved towards him, which is good for us. But equally, the line could have moved against us. Like these things happen randomly. You never know what player is going to get injured, right? If you place an NFL bet 6 days out, you don't know if some player is going to, you know, not be eligible to play or whatever. You don't know. So it's kind of like placing a bet on a future where you're betting on the Super Bowl winner is all these things are in the future. So crazy stuff can happen, and sometimes it'll be bad for you. Like I feel bad for those people who bet on the Packers -110 against the Chiefs, and then Rodgers, you know, got COVID. And very happy for the Chiefs bettors who got -110 when, you know, they then went to like -400. But these things happen randomly, right? Like it could have happened to Patrick Mahomes as well. You know, sometimes lines will move against you. Sometimes they'll move in your favor, which is why it's really useful to have the OddsJam bet tracker to tell you, you know, hey, your bet is no longer good to the closing line. So we have Bills, Chiefs, Chiefs under 57.5. This is minus 139 odds on Twin Spires. We placed $250. This bet was like 2.52% edge, if I remember properly. So I'm, $5 richer. So you're kind of using OddsJam, just like creating your own little hedge fund for yourself. You're making a bunch of mathematically profitable bets just going through the OddsJam plus EV page. And same with the promos, right? Like my promo may not hit tonight. It may hit, but this is a mathematically profitable promo. I have a profit margin of like 10%. All of my other bets, boom, woo, from OddsJam are all good. They're all mathematically profitable. And some bets will win, some bets will lose, but I am the one with the edge over the sportsbook, so I'll make money, right? You're essentially creating your own little hedge fund of bets. Everything is mathematically profitable, and you'll see that profit continue to stack up. You may have some down days, but over the long run, you're gonna make money. So you can go back here. We can see if any bets popped up. And nothing particularly interesting. Hit some arbs earlier, but looks like it slowed down a bit as you kind of get closer to game time. So again, like we've said this a lot, but there are really fast times and there are slow times, and no one knows when they're going to happen, right? Nobody knows when Mahomes is going to get injured and there will be some crazy line movement in the Chiefs game. So OddsJam really is a product that favors using it frequently. The people who are on the product most get the best lines because these opportunities don't last forever, right? Sports odds are constantly changing. It's exactly like the stock market. These odds are always bouncing around. And what OddsJam is just doing is scanning the frickin', millions of odds across all U.S. sports books combined. You can see DraftKings right here. We have the point spreads. They have alternate point spreads, alternate totals. Then they have halves, and then there's college basketball, and then there's college basketball alternate spreads. Like it really is next to impossible to find good bets without software because all the sharp bettors are using software, right? So if you're not using software, you're always going to be 2 steps behind. Like you're not going to be able to like scroll through and then go check other books and be like, yeah, there's some value. I mean, maybe you'll hit a good bet every once in a while, but it's tedious and it's time consuming and it's hard. And it's a waste of time because usually if there actually is a good bet, someone who's using software is going to get to it first, right? So OddsJam is just constantly scanning all of these books, right, and trying to find you the best bets, right? So like here, you can see, another great line, plus 300 on Caesars, on Predators, -2. Pins only giving you plus 258. So that seems like a pretty great bet. Granted, the market width is a bit bigger here, plus 258, -310. It's not an ARB to Pinnacle, right? Whenever an ARB exists, again, for a fact that there has to be a profitable bet, right? So the Sadiq Bey under 5.5 rebounds, -105 is clearly a good bet, right? And you'll see it on the OddsJam plus EV page as well. 6.29% edge. So that's just clearly a good bet, right? Klay Thompson under 3.5 rebounds, -113 on Twin Spires. Clearly a good bet because it's an ARB to Pinnacle, the sharpest sportsbook in the world, right? So whenever there's an ARB, there has to be a mathematically profitable bet. So you'll see a lot of these on the ARB page also show up on the plus EV page. So there's also a middles page. Middling is, pretty cool. Like here, if the Knicks Timberwolves game has exactly, 197 points, your bet on the under on FanDuel plus 630 would win. Your bet on the over would push. You would get your money back. So with the middle, you have no risk, right? But you have the opportunity to either win both bets or win one bet and push the second bet. So that's pretty cool. And again, an ARB is just when the plus number is greater than the minus number, but you have to move fast. So, and it's all possible, just last thing, because all these sportsbooks have different odds, right? All these sportsbooks want to be unique. They want to set their lines independently. So they all do. DraftKings only giving you plus 115. WinBet's only giving you plus 105. On the Flyers tonight, Pins giving you plus 117. All these sportsbooks have different odds. That is fundamentally what makes OddsJam such an interesting product, is all these sportsbooks do have different odds. And, it's hard to be perfect. right? It's hard for anyone to be perfect. And especially for these sports books, like you can see the quantity and you can see that little highlight, like it just like highlighted a bit, right? That is DraftKings changing their odds, right? So these odds are changing all the time. And especially when there's a good bet, other people are going to be betting it who have software. So they can move pretty quick. But anyways, what was I going to say is like, DraftKings does a pretty good job at keeping all their odds in check, but they're not perfect, right? They have so many freaking odds on their site, right? They have Norway floorball. Like it's hard to be perfect constantly in everything. So that's why good bets occur. Because usually, like most people place bad bets, right? You're betting on bad prices, and it's not easy to find bets on good prices. But sometimes you can. Like you can see here, Klay Thompson. So like here's another one, right? Over 3.5 goals in this soccer game looks pretty incredible. Like you can click on it and you can see right here, over 3.5 plus 144. It's an arb to Pinnacle. So we know one of these bets has to be good. It looks like insane value to DraftKings and Twin Spires as well. So we have really high confidence that this is a good bet. So out of all the frickin' millions of odds on FanDuel and all these other books, it's showing me the few gold nuggets out there, which is over 3.5 goals in this game. So I'm going to bet this too, of course. So I want to go to soccer, and then I want to go here. And then this is La Liga. So we'll go here, and then I'll go to leagues, and then I'll go to La Liga. And then we'll go to Elche, Real Madrid. And then I want goals, and then I want over 3.5. Where are you? Over 3.5 plus 144. So boom, got there. Got to know how to navigate. I tried to bet 500. FanDuel's like, yo, you've made way too much money off us. We'll give you 114.6. So now we have our third mathematically profitable bet placed. 144.6. This bet is 5.89% edge. So we have Real Madrid, Elche over 3.5 goals. And this was at plus 144. And FanDuel let us bet 144.60. So again, like, to use OddsJam and actually be successful, there are a couple things. One, you have to be quick. You have to know how to navigate these sports books. If this takes you 20 minutes to find, you're going to be disheartened. You're going to be annoyed, But also, people like me are going to get there quicker. So you have to, move fast. Number two is you need multiple sports books, right? Like you will not make money with one sports book. It's not going to happen. If I only had DraftKings, there wouldn't be a good bet, right? FanDuel is the one that is out of line here. So out of the, whatever, like 100,000, 50,000, however many odds are on FanDuel right now, probably most of them are terrible bets, probably, 99.9% of them. But this little 0.1% is a fantastic bet. And we know there has to be a profitable bet because it's an arb to Pinnacle. So one of these books has to be wrong. And I'm not betting against the sharpest sports book in the world. So I can click on this too, and I can add it to my bet tracker. So I'll get a notification if, hey, my bet is no longer good. Like let's say all the sharp action in, 3 days steams in on the under, on the under. And, this moves up to like the over 3.5 goals moves up to like plus 160. My bet sucks. What I'm going to want to do is like go here very quickly and like cash out. So, that's why you want these CLV notifications on and to use the OddsJam bet tracker. So we can go back here. And we can see, do I have some bets open? So it looks like I have some bets open. Yeah. Pacers. That's cool. I have Kings. So you can see, this was a bet I saw earlier. It was an arb between FanDuel and WinBet when NBA odds first started to come out. And I placed the bet on WinBet and I hedged a little bit of it on FanDuel. But, I have some serious Kings action tomorrow. Let's just say that. So that's pretty exciting. And now I have a fun game to watch. So here we can see another plus EV bet just popped up, over 109 first half total points. So what I can do is go here, over 109, and it looks like it may have already moved. DraftKings is already at minus 110. So I missed that because I was showing the other thing. But again, like, you got to be quick. We've gotten down like a few good bets. We can see if there's any prop bets out there, player props that I want to hit, like Curry, over 3.5 made threes seems pretty incredible. I typically play props a little smaller just because, let me just log back into Caesars, just because there's a little more variability. And what I mean by that is, like, people don't bet them as much, so they're not as sharp of markets. They're not as sharp of markets. So I would say out of all the profit, most of it has come on main lines, some on props, but there's a lot more variability and these lines whip around a lot more. So I just tend to focus largely on, main lines. But we can see it's a great bet. We're getting how much edge? 5.12% edge. So it's pretty incredible. So typically I keep my prop bet size to 100 max, 50, 100, maybe 250 if I really like it. But I would recommend just playing them a bit smaller. I think I have some player prop bet tonight. Yeah, I have Curry over 6.5 assists, a plus EV play on WinBet. So you can play them how you want to play them. But what we can do is we can go here, and then I want total 3-point field goals. I'm moving really slow, so I don't know if this is going to be available. We go to Warriors, Curry, thank gosh, it's still available. So we place this bet, $100, bet at a 5% edge, right? So I can add it to my bet tracker. You can see this little green check mark comes up once you place a bet to let you know you've already bet it. I'm betting $100, 5.12% edge, right? So if I refresh the page, now that it's in my bet tracker, there's this little, green check mark right here that's like, oh, you already bet this. Just so, if you're placing a lot of bets in a day like me, you remember what you actually have bet. So we have Curry over 3.5 threes. And then we have this for $100. The edge was 0.0512, which means we're earning $5.12 in expected profit. So feeling pretty good about that. But yeah, I mean, there's a couple arbs we can hit. Nothing super exciting. We have some live bets starting. It looks like there's some value on West Virginia live against Baylor. Dang. So maybe Baylor will lose. That'll be exciting. But we have some bets placed. They're all mathematically profitable. We'll continue to see that profit go up. Watch a lot of our full-length YouTube videos if you really want to get into the math of it, or, see profit and loss recaps and stuff like that, or, everything like that. We have a bunch of good content. We try to keep it all pretty informative and just helpful. I know there were a lot of questions I had when I started sports betting, so hopefully it's helpful to you. Our goal really is to make everyone as good of a sports bettor as they can be. And again, we have a ton of links below. Please sign up for more sports books. You will make more money. You can see the Pistons are insane underdogs tonight. I bet this plus 1,200. The plus 1,200 actually seems a little good to Pinnacle's market. Plus 107. So if you want a lottery ticket, I actually have like $100 or something on the Pistons. Also have their first half money line on Twin Spires. I posted it as a YouTube short. So I think you have to be on your phone to see YouTube shorts, but the market on Pinnacle is plus 1,007, minus 1,563. So plus 1,007, minus 1,563. So the fair odds is plus 1,050. So the sharpest sportsbook in the world is implying a win rate of 8.77% for the Pistons tonight, which is obviously pretty terrible. But hey, crazy things happen in sports. Nobody ever gets, betting on underdogs. It's like, oh, the Pistons are the worst team. And again, it's like, no shit. But if you're betting on the Pistons at plus 1,200, what that means, right? You're betting 100 to win 1.2K. So you only have to win 1 out of 13 times to break even. 1 out of 13 times. So the question is, like, can the Pistons beat the Warriors 1 out of 13 times? And the answer is yes. So actually, I am placed more on this. I like having these long shots bet. There are a lot of people who bet on sports professionally, not professionally. I mean, they scrape by. They make some money betting on sports. It's not like there really aren't people who get rich sports betting, but because again, and I'll show you why. Because I don't even know if they're going to let me rebet this, but you can see I have it bet somewhere. Yeah, I have the Pistons plus 1,200. I was limited to 71.26, but sometimes as you get closer to game time, they let you bet more. So we'll see if they do. So let's try to place $250 on it. I believe it's mathematically, they're giving me another 71.26. So, I mean, I'll place it. So this is an EV bet, Pistons plus 1,200 money line, and then it's plus 1,200. And again, I know the Pistons are the worst team, but there's value in the price that you are getting, right? So we can go through, we can back out the edge, but we can actually do that. So if I just go here, I go to my settings, I go to positive EV, I just put in like 2,000 for this. It's like crazy things happen in sports, right? I think the Jags beat the Bills this year. The Colts versus Jags final week of the NFL is a perfect example. All the squares in the world had the Colts as the final leg in their parlay, and they lost because sports has crazy things happen. And if you were betting on the Jaguars like plus 800, everyone knows the Jaguars are the worst team. But if you're betting at plus 800, you only have to win 1 out of 9 times to break even. So everything is about the odds you're getting. And you can see this bet is insane, right? And this bet is still insane. The first half money line, I already bet the first half money line as well, but there's clear value. There's 13.99% EV in this wager. Granted, the market width is a bit higher, but what you can do is you can check a betting exchange, which is what I did previously. I've done it in other videos. And Pistons plus 1,200 is definitely a good bet, right? It looks good to the betting exchanges. It looks good to Pinnacle, the sharpest sports book. It looks good to bet on lines market. It looks profitable at all of them. The Pistons will probably lose this game, but I think there's enough value in that line that it's still profitable. And placing bets on these underdogs in the long run can be profitable, right? I think the Pistons will beat the Warriors over 1 out of 12, 13 times. So I hope you found this video helpful. Get more sports books. Click all the links below. Sign up for as many sports books as you can in your state. If you're trying to become a profitable bettor, you need more sports books, right? I placed a bet today on Twin Spires. I placed a ton on WinBet, but not in this video. I placed bets on FanDuel. I placed bets on DraftKings. I placed bets on Caesars. 5 sports books in Arizona where I'm at. I placed bets on all of them today. They also all have different promos. And again, if you don't believe me that this parlay insurance is any good, watch the full length video, right? But all these sports books have a sign-up bonus. Then they all have their own unique promos, and you can find mathematically profitable bets on all of them just scrolling down the OddsJam plus EV page, right? So you need more sports books, long story short. So click the links below, sign up for them all. And again, thanks so much for your time.